connected?
Should I talk on this end?
You're good.
Okay.
You can just wait a second. I'll introduce you and then. We're good. All right. We're all good. What's going on, D-Bags? Hope you guys are doing well. Back here again with the 102nd episode of the Detox Podcast. I'm your host, Darren Reed. Feel free to connect with me at any of the links down below. And if you're new here, you enjoy music, podcasts, or comedy, we do a whole lot of that here. So please consider subscribing. And I've got today kind of combining, sneakers and hip-hop, because they kind of go hand in hand, at least in today's day. We've got somebody who is extremely knowledgeable in the sneaker realm of things. But before I introduce you guys to him, I got to talk to you guys a little bit about car insurance. These days, it seems as if we're able to do more and more from home. So while you're at home, why aren't you saving money on your car insurance? Your hometown agency, Kenosha Auto Insurance, has specialized for years in simple, hassle-free car insurance using the latest in touch-free technology to help you and your family get the best rates. So what are you waiting for? Give them a call today, 262-448-4141. That's 448-4141. The website is kenoshains.com. Should be right here. And one last time, that's 262-448-4141. Give them a call. Tell them D-Rita Detox sent you. The worst that could happen is you will get the best rates. Now, with all of that good stuff out of the way, all the church announcements done, I'm pumped to introduce you guys to my guest this week. He's a young entrepreneur, sneakerhead, and a man of the culture. Let's give a wet detox welcome to the owner of KENOKICKS, Noah. What's going on, man?
Pretty good, pretty good.
It's great to have you in here. I know we met recently, and I got to come see the shop, and I got to congratulate you on it, man. It's looking fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate it a lot.
It's
a lot of hard work.
It's inspiring. You were telling me before we went live that you're working like 80 hours a week, sometimes more than that, just to keep everything going. You're young, you're hustling. What's kind of gotten you into this realm? Like, what took you from maybe selling a couple of kicks on the side to being like, you know what, I'm gonna go get myself a storefront and I'm gonna start slinging kicks like it's fucking hotcakes? Like, what got you to that point?
I'd say it started about 8 years ago, collecting shoes. And then as I was collecting, I go to some of the sneaker cons or MSXs. Is Milwaukee Shoe Exchange, for you guys that don't know, are from this area. And making a couple dollars off shoes, more than I'd be making at a job for $7.25, say 5 years ago. And so I stopped that for a little bit when I started working at Sherrill's Drive-In in Kenosha. After that, I worked at Giordano's, and I lost my job for a week due to the riots in Kenosha. Okay. And I was selling shoes, and I ended up making more selling shoes than working and flipping pizzas in the air. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I thought something I could take to a different level. Yeah. And blessed that it did.
So you kind of were just like dabbling a little bit in there, and it kind of started taking off on its own. You're like, well, shit, like there's no point in me doing this if I can do something I love and get paid even more for it. What was that first shoe for you that made you fall in love with like sneaker culture?
I'd say the Jordan 7 Hair. It's kind of based on the Bugs Bunny kind of era. And that's what kind of got me into loving shoes, was that Jordan right there.
Did you own a pair?
I did. Oh, wow. My dad bought it for me for a Christmas gift one year.
Wait, how old were you when that happened?
I was a freshman year in high school. Okay. So I was probably 15, 14, around there.
That's probably, I feel like that's like around the time a lot of kids get really into like sneakers and shoes.
It is.
Because I think for me, it was probably like 8th grade, freshman year, and I was like obsessed, dude. Like I was just obsessed with them. But it was more for me because I played basketball. It was more like performance shoes.
I played 2 years for varsity.
Okay, really cool. Yep. Where were you go to school, Tremper?
I went to Ruther, and then I went to Tremper for my last 2 years.
Okay, so you know T-Jazz. We talked about
this I do know Tristan Jazz. I know his cameraman and his buddy Sergio a little bit more better. Yeah. But I recently met him. I knew him from Tremper and stuff like that, but I recently met him. I was in, I wouldn't say like a lower income part of Kenosha, but there was some lower poverty apartments around me. Yeah. Well, he was buying Christmas presents for them kids. And I happened to look out my window one day, and I see a Tesla and Tristan Jazz are chilling there.
You see the hair?
Yeah, exactly. The curly hair, and they had the whole bait fit on and everything. And I was like, man, let me go check this guy out, say what's up. And I met him there, and I got invited to – he did a pop-up at my buddy's store one time in Kenosha. Headquarters, shout out to him.
Shout out Headquarters.
Shout out to Headquarters, yes. And it was shoot a basketball from 50 feet and win a free pair of shoes. So I got invited to that. Fortunately, I didn't make any shots from 50 feet away, which is pretty expected. But yeah, it was a super good vibe. He's very, very intelligent person. So
that's cool. I mean, it seems like it with the way he makes a lot of smart business moves. He's actually in right now. He's in the I don't know if you watch this at all. It's the TCL.
Yes.
It's the rapper like crew league. It's the crew league. And he's on, whose team is he on? Tyga's team.
I was about to say, just got done playing with Tiger and Man, to have that opportunity with Chris Brown and Tiger just playing in the game with them is pretty insane.
It's gonna be crazy, dude. I mean, it was. I mean, I didn't. At least from the edit. Again, I don't know like what they cut out and what they keep, but from the edit, like it didn't look like he got. They like let him do a whole lot.
100%.
But you know, he is probably one of the better players that's there, so that would make sense to not like. But
you know, they want to see Tiger or Chris Brown score the ball every once in a while.
They played G-Eazy in the first round.
Yep.
And they beat G-Eazy up. But it was pretty close, though, I got to say.
It was pretty close.
But I just, that's crazy. You got to lace T-Jazz up one of these days.
Yes, I do.
You got to get him in some sneaks.
I might fall a couple of times, but we'll have fun.
Yeah.
Oh, lace him up.
No, I was saying, like, dressing. Like, you got to get him in
I would.
shout out KENOKICKS.
I know he likes Jordan 4, so maybe we could work something out with him one day.
That would be really cool.
Or maybe give a free pair to one of the customers one day.
That would be sweet. Cool. That would be really sweet. Now, so speaking of the store, you guys do some interesting stuff. You were telling me before we went live about you guys got Nintendo in there and whatnot.
Yep.
And you guys also do raffles.
We do.
So you want to explain like how and kind of why you guys do the raffles that you do?
We do the raffles for like, I wouldn't say people. I'd say it's one for people that don't have all the money to buy a pair of shoes, but you know have $5 laying around to give to a pair of shoes that they could win. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the older generation likes the raffle thing. So I have a thing where you buy 10, get one free. And a lot of the older guys come in there and like to test their luck, so it's pretty cool.
And how much does a raffle ticket usually go for?
Oh, $5. We only do $5 in the store.
I mean, that's pretty sweet. You're getting like a, you know, between a $150 to like a $250 pair of shoes.
Yep.
And you're getting it
for
the
last one we did was a pair of Space Jams. It was around a $500 pair of shoes. So.
And you could get it for $5.
Yes.
Like
yes.
I mean, this is not sponsored. He's not paying me to say this, but that is insane. That's really super cool.
I appreciate that.
And that was like one of the first things when I went in there. I was like, wow, this is pretty neat. And I really like, you know, I like the setup. Like you guys got the wall in there, people sign and everything. Like where do you get your ideas? Are you brainstorming these with like your family, friends? Like where do you get like your business sense from? Because obviously you were working these jobs, you know, you're just kind of working for the man, doing whatever to get a check, and then you decided I'm gonna be my own boss. Where does that mindset? I feel like that had to always be in you somewhere.
So growing up around 5 years old, my mom say, well, what do you want to do when you grow up? I said, I don't know, but I want to work for no one. So I always wanted to be my own boss. That was the biggest thing with me. I always looked at it as, well, if he could do it, I could do it. So that's kind of how it started or originated, I'd say. Okay.
How do you vet like ideas when it comes to like, you know, having that wall that you guys have, the wall that everybody signs? Or I know we were in there, my brother and I were in there the other day when you guys were kind of making a decision on purchasing a sign and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like
that guy was definitely something right there.
Yeah, that guy he was hard selling.
He was a good salesman.
Yeah.
The sign on the wall actually started on YouTube. I was watching, you know, around 2 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the morning. We don't got nothing to do.
You're in the wormhole of YouTube.
Exactly. You throw on YouTube. There's a store based in New Jersey, and they signed the wall. And I just seen how many people that would come in and sign that wall. And I have around 300 signatures. Well, they probably have around 3,000 signatures.
Wow.
And, you know, I think it's nice to come in and, you know, if you're with your buddies, like, hey, I signed the wall. Just having that, like, yo, I went to KENOKICKS and signed the wall. My name's never going nowhere. You know what I mean? Hopefully we'll be able to sign the trim one day around the whole store. That's like the goal.
Yeah.
I kind of like the graffiti vibe too, and I think that's kind of where it started too.
Kind of gives everybody like a sense
welcome.
Of like they own, like almost not like they own the store, but it's like a home. It's like I own that little spot of real estate on the wall. That's my name.
And I'd say I go to a lot of sneakers stores around the area. My buddy lives in Kentucky, and I went to a couple of them in Nashville. I go to the store, and the guy's just sitting there behind the counter with his phone or his AirPods in. You know, I'm like, why would I want to buy a pair of shoes off this guy? He doesn't even want to say hi to me when I go into a store.
Yeah.
So that was one of my things is like, if you're not going to buy something, let me give you something or a reason to buy. Just a welcoming thing. Everybody that comes in, I say, well, how'd you find out about us? Or how's your day?
Yeah.
You know, drive safe when you leave.
Yeah. Or just
stuff like
and that's the thing too, like which I think is really smart, and a lot of creators kind of learn the tough way, and we talk a lot about creator stuff, obviously, as I do content and whatnot, is providing value. And that's what you're doing when you do that. It's even if they're not going to buy a pair of shoes from you, even if they don't want any of the other little stuff you got in there, you're providing an environment that is fun to be there. You know, I get to sign the wall. There's the Nintendo games going on. 100%. There's a guy who's greeting me, wants to talk to me, like, and it's good vibes.
Going back to what you said, value, I think when they sign the wall, everyone thinks they're a valued customer, and that's how I completely want to come off. Everyone that comes in, even if you're taking free stickers, you're a valued customer. You know, if you come in here and you never buy anything, but you want to sit down and play the Nintendo, we're more than happy to have that happen, you know?
Yeah.
So
That's really
it's
cool.
a good vibe when you come in.
I just think it's so different. We were talking about this off air that you're in such a like unique spot in Twin Lakes. You know, there's not a whole lot of, you wouldn't expect there to be a sneaker store, like a
100%.
nice shoe place where you've got all these rare items in one spot. You wouldn't expect that in Twin Lakes. What was
I think when I came to Twin Lakes, I moved here to live with my mother-in-law and my girlfriend. Well, I'm coming up the street and I think the population's like 6,000. I'm thinking when I come up here, I was selling shoes, but more like going to sneaker events and stuff like that. I didn't have a store.
Yeah.
Well, I met the guy at Trader Brothers and he was like, well, I got a spot you could sell shoes at.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, the town was 6,000 people. Is anyone even going to buy a pair of shoes?
Yeah.
So I think it's really, really dope. If you check my Instagram page, how many sales we make and how many people come in with a smile on their face.
That's what I was going to say. It's another thing I think that's really cool that you do is that you post everybody after they buy something. So I think, and they usually take the picture in front of that wall, which is really cool.
It's pretty cool. To see how much the wall went from the first person that bought a pair of shoes and the last one, I always look around every week. I think we had 5 signatures on the wall, and it's almost filled now. So it's pretty good to see the progress that goes on.
That's got to be pretty motivating.
It is.
You mentioned sneaker events though.
Yes.
So for people that don't know, I've never been to a sneaker event. I know my brother just recently went to one. He was telling me about it, and you were telling me about it before we went live. Is this similar to, this is like they're like conventions almost, right? Like Comic-Con for like people like nerd people like me that want to go see Comic-Con, E3, these kind of things.
We're actually trying to get into Comic-Con this year, so.
Oh, that would be sick.
Comic-Con
is really dope. So like how do you get yourself involved with these, and then like what is the feel for people that have never been to one? Like paint us a picture of what that looks like.
I'd say the feel is when you come in, there's around 100 people with a 6 to 8 foot table, usually around 6 to 8 feet, and they have at least 60 pairs on the table, or vintage clothing and stuff like that. When I was younger, I didn't have a table, so now I go to places like that and I can get a pair of shoes for under $200 and they'll still be clean. Yeah, it was super fun for me, and the older guys have been doing it for a while. They're selling $5,000 shoes just to see a $5,000 shoe. Yeah. Not even to have $5,000 back in the day, I think is pretty cool. Yeah. So it was definitely a good vibe doing that.
What is like, so do people usually like sell stuff for better deals at these conventions?
I'd say it's 50-50. Some tables you go to and they're charging more than the StockX or Go price. Some tables are selling $50 under. Yeah. I'd say the tables that more evolved and, have a store, they just go there kind of to market and get their name out there, which is kind of what I do now. I don't really go to their market. I just kind of go there to build relationships, if that makes sense. Yeah. Which is super cool to meet some of the guys that are into the community like me.
Do those things, so like, I'd imagine you probably have to pay to get in, right?
Yes.
It's like you pay like, what is it usually to get in a place like this?
It's around $70 a table and you get 2 free admissions. So if you have you and a buddy, have him run the table and you go buy shoes or something like that.
That's pretty sweet.
It's super cool.
And so like for like if I wanted to go to like a sneaker event and like just purchase some shoes or look around at some vintage clothing and whatnot, like what does it usually like cost like for like the regular person? Because I know Comic-Con can sometimes be kind of expensive. Yeah. Are these like much cheaper than that?
I'd say that's a variety. There's some shoes that are there. I'd say the cheaper shoes are more like the kids' shoes. They go for around $30 to $40. Not the best condition, but for $30-$40, get a pair of retros is not bad. Yeah. Some tables are there selling shoes over $400 and nothing under $400. Wow. Because that's just what they have and what they know.
That's crazy.
Vintage is a different story. It's a different setting, if you ask me. I paid $100 for a vintage shirt, but I can also go to Goodwill and get them for $5 or. Something like vintage pages on Instagram, they sell some of their stuff for $20 or $30, which I think is really good because some of the people that are a little bit more have more of a base, they're taxing people just because they can, and it kills the culture. Yeah, it really does.
It's interesting. That's something that I've been somewhat critical of. I'm still into shoes. I still love shoes, but I definitely don't make as many like expensive purchases of like Jordans and stuff as I used to. And part of that for me is something that turned me off, and I want to get your opinion on this, is people kind of, I think is it called scalping, or when they'll try and buy it right as everything drops, it sells out, like a drop comes, sells out, and then immediately they're selling it for like triple the price. And like people will buy, like they use bots to buy like 3-4 pairs of the shoe, and then they get all of the pairs, and now they're selling them for $400 more than they're worth. And the price gets jacked up then because of that.
I think it's great that you brought up the bots, because I shouldn't say I hate it because I hate strong, but I dislike it a lot because, you can sit on your computer for 30 minutes and buy a bot and get 50 pair of shoes for retail. and sell them, jack up the price how you did.
Yeah.
Well, some people come to my store, they're like, well, how do you get so many shoes? Or, I have people that bring them in, and I have to pay the price that they want.
Yeah.
So I always dislike botting. I just feel like it's a cheap way to do it. I feel like the culture back in the day was you sit in a line with 50 people outside the store.
Yeah.
If you got lucky, you got a pair of shoes. Well, now you just log into an account and pay $30 a month for a subscription, and you're making thousands of dollars for something you don't even know about,
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is that like I guess I don't know why I just see it as like it makes me really sad where like I picture myself at like 12, 13, like my parents are going to buy me this pair of shoes and we're waiting at the computer for like 45 minutes for the drop, and then we don't get it, and then some whatever that just to paint a picture, some 50-year-old dude who's not even gonna has no 100%. Plans of wearing the fucking shoe. He bought 4 of them because he had these bots set up to buy it immediately, and now he's making fucking I don't even know like 12 grand off however many pairs depending on how expensive it is. And I always think that that's so sad. Like you said, I think it hurts the culture in a way because it's like that pair of shoes that your dad got you changed your life. Like
and he had to wait for those shoes.
And he had to wait for the shoes,
you know.
And I'm not saying that like necessarily we gotta wait in a physical line. I think even waiting online is fine, but like the bots and stuff, that really does take away from somebody who maybe wants to get into this.
Yeah, I'll put it. I've been into shoes for 8 years, and I've only got 2 pairs of shoes in the Nike app for retail. So
oh my god,
every 4 years I might get one for retail. So that's the chances you're taking with that.
Gosh, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
That is really crazy. We got who's in the chat here. Anita Lee says,
my girlfriend.
Okay, she said that's my baby. Shout out Anita. Shout out Anita. Okay, so we kind of talked a little bit about the sneaker events and whatnot. What's the best business advice that you've ever been given? Because you're a young guy, start your own business, start this company, and you're doing fairly well.
Sure.
Very very soon, I guess. What's been the best advice that you've been given, or that maybe you would give?
The best advice I would give is probably just treat everyone equal. That's pretty much my best advice. Someone could come in wearing Skechers, and you would never think they bought a pair of shoes. They might buy the most expensive pair for their kid.
Yeah.
I've always hated bullying and stuff like that, and I feel like in some of the sneaker culture and some of the people that have millions of dollars, they kind of bully like the other little resellers with their market price and stuff like that. Just was never into that.
That's a really good point, because I think that is kind of it's price manipulation, which is messed up, and 2 it's just rude, and it's not going to help anybody. It's not going to make anybody 100%. Want to get into sneakers that's not into them.
100%.
And everybody wins if more people get into shoes and clothes like that. What's a pair of shoes that you wish you had? One, like if there was one pair that like you've always wanted that you've not been able to get.
Nike Air Max, definitely. The
Nike
whole
Air
Back
Max.
to the Future thing is the hype right now, and that's probably my grail right there, is to just have one and never wear them.
Dude, I want those so bad. Those are that's like my dream. They're
the Marty McFlys.
There's no like real world application for them. Like there's no reason to have them.
Your jaw drops, you're speechless, stuff like that.
They got the lights. They self tie. Like it's insane.
They made a skateboard for them or whatever they did.
I did see something like the little hoverboard thing.
Yep, there's a company that came out with them, so that's pretty cool.
That's fucking sick.
It is.
I wish they would do another drop of those.
I wish.
I mean, they probably won't for a while, but hopefully they will soon.
Sure.
Those are incredible. Kid Cudi's got a couple pairs of those. We were talking before we went live.
That's cool.
So when it comes to your shop and everything, we were talking a little bit off air about like kind of what's next, like what you're looking to do. What have you ever thought? I mean, you're wearing some custom. You got the KENOKICKS gear on right now.
Happy merch, guys.
Have you guys ever considered doing like custom shoes? Like, because I know a lot of people do, especially like on Instagram and stuff. There's a couple of YouTube channels too where they do custom shoes, where they like paint them, or they got the spray brushes and everything, and they make custom colorways and they sell them that way.
I thought about it, and I think it's something we are gonna do with Air Forces, like plain white Air Force Ones.
Yeah, that's a good one.
There's a lot of creators on Instagram that I've met that did that, and to get a custom pair of Air Forces for $200, it's pretty cool to have anything you want on there. You can put your name on there. If you're into anime and you like Dragon Ball Z, you could put
a lot of DBZ ones I've seen
with his hair coming up, stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think of just having something one of one for $200 is pretty insane.
I think that's a pretty fair price too. Like $200, no one else has the shoe. This was made just for you. You guys should maybe consider even getting somebody to like an artist to just like do it for 100%. You. Like you guys got one guy who does it for you, or a girl, whoever. That would be really cool. That would be really sweet. Have you guys sold any custom shoes there? Has anyone come in and tried to sell you custom shoes?
We have not. We have not yet. But I watched this guy on YouTube, and this guy comes out and he changes his tongues from all the original colorways because when they retro things, it doesn't come like the original thing.
Yeah.
And to see people do that is pretty cool. I think it's pretty inspirational for some people that don't know a lot about the sneaker culture.
Yeah.
So I find that really cool.
I think like the shoe restoration videos I've seen on YouTube are pretty crazy, dude. Like
they take apart the whole sole and they make it look brand new.
I don't know how they do that.
Yeah,
dude.
Same with you.
Have you ever purchased? I don't know. I'd like to hear your thoughts on how worth it these are. But like the protective like soles that like it's like a clear spray on. There's all these like
Rejuvenator.
Yeah,
they do something like that. They put a clear plastic bottom on the insole
so that it doesn't get torn up at all.
It's nice if you're not going to wear your shoe all the time, but if you plan on wearing your shoe all the time, you know, you take the insole off, the plastic off, the bottom looks brand new, but the top looks totally different.
Oh yeah.
And you could tell people that do that, you know, they try to lie to you or say they never wore them, but you could tell they're worn.
Yeah,
it affects the value if you ask me.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was always curious because that's something I've never done, but I always see them getting marketed, especially because I used to buy so many shoes that for sure. I was the prime target for that. They were always marketing it to me. So. For sure. We got Danny Olea says young boss in the making right here.
Okay.
Shout out Danny. That's cool, man. So like what do you think you go to the mall obviously, I'd imagine you probably used to
when I get time
buy shoes at the mall. I'm sure growing up and whatnot. Yep. How do you feel and is it a scam, these people that try and sell like the sneaker clean? Have you ever got your sneakers cleaned by those guys at the
MGK?
kiosk? I don't know who they are, but it's always somebody trying to clean my shoe and I'm like, I'm sorry bro, I don't have time.
Yep. I think there's two ways you could look at that. You know, I think it's good for the hustle part of the perspective of the shoe game. Mm-hmm. But, you know, for someone to nag you 5 times and you're walking past and you're trying to buy something in the store, it can get a little overwhelming. Yeah. And they got 3 of them in the mall. So it's nice sense for marketing, but it's not always best, you know, when you're just trying to relax.
Yeah. What do you think, like, as far as, like, shoes go and the culture that surrounds them, what do you think is, like, the most promising aspect of it? What's like your favorite thing to do with or around shoes and the culture that comes with it?
I'd say making new connections and just meeting a lot of new people that I've never met in my life before. Yeah. Some of the guys are really cool, and some of them, you know, they could really care less about you. Yeah. But the guys that you do meet that are really cool, that help you a lot, those are the people that I'd say I take their advice. They've been doing it for 20 plus years, you know, and they helped me out a lot just getting my store going, and taking advice from people like that is really inspirational, if you ask.
That makes sense. I wonder, do you ever like, are you a part of like some online, like, are you like in groups and whatnot of people that surround this kind of stuff, or you just do your own thing?
I forget what it's called. It's not a Twitch.
Discord?
Discord is what it's called, and it's a really big engagement group, and some people will be like, you know, Nike's dropping this out of nowhere on Thursday, so make sure you be on your phone. And those groups are around $200 a month. Okay. So it's not something I considered yet, but it's something I definitely have considered. But like back to the whole bot thing, that's what some of them groups are into. Yeah. So I respect it, but I don't respect it at the same time.
Yeah, there's people that ruin it. I feel like there's some people that like to take advantage of stuff like that. So we kind of talked too. I should have probably asked you this after when we were talking about the custom shoes, but we mentioned it before we went live. Mischief, the brand that did they did the Walk on Water, and they also did the Satan shoe with Lil Nas X. That was really cool. How do you feel like about these brands? Do you know how it works with like these brands that do custom shoes like that? Because they apparently got sued by Nike. I don't think it went very far. I think they just stopped making them, but it's still pretty crazy.
From what I know, they basically, it's like when you get fake Jordans from China, they'll basically just get like a black plain Air Max and you know, throw their logo on it with how many ever pairs are made. I actually like the concept. You know, it's not Nike, and if you get something like that, you know, don't ever sell it because it might be worth a lot of money one day. Yeah. I seen a pair of the Satin Snakes. There's water inside of them, like a red Kool-Aid, I'd say. Yeah. You know, it's a good idea for promoting, but if you plan on wearing the shoes for like 5 or 6 years, that water's going to ruin the mesh, which I don't think a lot of people that don't know a lot about shoes know, that are spending $20,000 on a shoe right now. Yeah, that makes sense. To have it in your house and to say, you know, I got 1 out of 2,000 is pretty cool, I feel like.
That is, I mean, that's really cool. It's a collector's item. Do you have a lot of shoes that you don't wear? That, like,
I have
you just don't
around 10 of them in the store that I don't wear. I just collect. You know, some of them I have to pay a lot for. But some of them I might go to a flea market and find them for $3 or $4, you know.
That's super cool.
So it's pretty cool. I think the oldest pair I got in the store right now is from 2000.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get some 1985 Jordans. If anyone's watching this and they got them, text me.
Yeah.
Hit me.
Hit up KENOKICKS and hit him up
sure.
with some 1985 Jordans. Even man, I was so weird. Like I was like when I was getting into shoes and I was playing basketball a lot. I had friends that would buy shoes and they would never wear them, and it would
100%.
frustrate me because I was like a hooper at the
Yep.
time. So like I only bought shoes I wanted to hoop in.
Mhm.
And one of my friends, I wanted a pair of 11s so bad to hoop in because it's like out of like retro Jordans and like of that line, like there's not a whole lot of them that I would consider like
playing basketball in
because they're not really made for. I mean, he did. Don't get me wrong,
Exactly.
he did, but like a lot of them are just not ideal for it.
100%.
And I also think they probably they were probably a little bit different than the ones that they're selling you, because I think even the ones that he's worn are like slightly different materials.
They are different. Back to the Hair 7s, I bought those to play basketball in.
Oh gosh.
So that was pretty cool, to have a pair of Jordans and play in the basketball team.
Yeah.
I played in a pair of Jordan 11s before. They're okay. They're not the best shoe to hoop in, but they're really good to, take a picture of you shooting the basketball with a pair of Jordan 11s.
Yeah,
that was
that's
pretty
fair.
Cool.
That's fair. I like the lows. I was gonna buy the
100%.
lows for because I played in college and I was gonna
Okay.
get it for my second year in college, and
That's
I
cool.
couldn't find a pair in my size at the time.
For
So
sure. I'm
but-
wearing the lows right now, actually.
yeah, I saw that when you walked in. Yeah.
I love Jordan.
What size shoe are you?
9.5, 10.
Oh, so you're the
around there.
perfect size.
Perfect size.
That's where all of the
Yep.
shoes fluctuate. See,
Yep.
I'm 12, so it's like
Ah,
I
hard
never get
size.
shoes in my size.
I can't keep size 12 in the store for as much as I try.
Yeah.
Too many people wear that size.
What's the biggest like shoe that you've ever had in your store?
13 is the biggest.
Okay.
I've thought about going to size 14. It's just a hard market, so I just usually try to stick at 13 or
Yeah.
the lower.
My center in college, he wore like a size 17,
Holy crap!
and he wasn't even that big. I mean, he was 6'5", 6'6".
Okay,
Like, he wasn't
okay.
even like a super big center, because we played at a smaller school. But yeah, he was wearing like size 16 or 17. It
That's
was
crazy.
insane. He had
You
to
had
go
to order
Ro-
them all, I bet.
Yeah, he had to either
Yeah,
go that.
that's what I hear.
We found a pair at Ross for him, and because they were like $20, because no one,
Yeah.
that's the only place you're gonna
Yeah.
find some shit like that.
Back before the whole sneaker culture was really coming up, you could find like foam posits and like kind of the brick Jordans they call them today at
Mhm.
Ross or like Marshalls.
Yeah.
So that was super cool, to go to Marshalls and find a pair of Jordans there. I thought, I never seen that before.
Yeah, well, one of my friends, he buys. He was one of my roommates. He would buy size like he found. I forget how big it was. I think it was a 17 or 8. It was around the same size as my
Okay.
center shoe, and it's literally like this big. And
Holy
it's
crap.
and I'm
About
not
the
doing
size
like
of your forearm.
yeah,
huh?
I'm not doing the whole fisherman thing. Oh, I caught a fish.
Yep.
Like it was literally like around there, and it was a white. It was like a Dame
Okay,
4
Damian
or
Lillard
something.
like
Yeah,
that? Okay.
and just like it's just silly. But he would just buy them because it was like $20 because they're not going to
Why
sell
not?
it.
Why
And
not?
so he would like pull up to the gym sometimes in these like giant shoes, like just like messing around, and then put his actual ones on. But
The biggest shoe I ever seen was on Cool Kicks. I think it was a size 21 Vans.
Oh
It's
my-
probably about the size of this table right
my
here. Yeah,
God.
it was a big shoe.
I don't know anybody that's a
Yep.
size 21 that wears Vans.
I think they were just messing around, but
Yeah.
it's still pretty cool.
That
really
is
cool.
nuts. I'd love to see Shaq in some Vans.
For sure.
That
for
would be
sure. That'd
hilarious.
crazy. He's a big guy.
He is a big dude. His Shaqs, I think, were like one of the highest selling shoes, like
sure.
ever. Like because he sells them at Walmart. Like
I-
they're cheaper.
And to the Walmart thing, I think I really respect that idea, because I didn't always have money to buy shoes growing up,
Yeah.
and for people to, in the sneaker culture, they make fun of stuff like that.
yeah.
Well, I think it's really, really inspirational that Shaq would do that for, Jordans are over $200. You can go to Walmart and get a pair of Shaqs for $10.
Exactly.
Why
Well, that's
not?
what he said. I saw a post. It was like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was like however many billion pairs sold. Like
Yeah.
he had people affordable shoes that
And
are
he does a lot with charity too. I
Yeah.
find that really cool.
and these are like they're not the quality of a Jordan.
100%.
But these are not. They're also not like some shoe that's falling apart from Goodwill, and it's the same
100%.
price. It's $10. You
100%.
can't beat that. So I think it's really
And they're
admirable.
brand new.
Yeah,
so
and they're
why
brand
not?
new. Exactly. No, yeah, we growing up, we used to give each other shit for like
Yep.
if someone had them
Yep,
for sure.
for
Which
sure.
if
If
obviously,
it's a buddy, it's reasonable sometimes, but
but making somebody actually feel
Yeah,
bad for that
100%.
being the pair of shoes, like, that's not
100%.
cool at
It's
all.
not at all.
That's just kind of lame. Now I got something ready for us before the show today, and McKenna will pull it up for us. We're gonna be doing a tier list. So you
Okay.
familiar with tier lists? Like you've
A
seen
little
people
bit.
do them.
I've seen it.
So they'll like rank random things like S tier, A tier, B. You kind of rank them by how good
Okay.
they are. So I've got a list of they're not exactly in order, but because there were a couple that I just cut out because they weren't as notable. But it's, I think, 15 of the most expensive shoes ever. And McKenna will flip the screen for us a little bit. Do you have them pulled up right now, McKenna? So we're gonna be doing a tier list, and we'll kind of come to an agreement of what we think are like each one should go, and we'll judge them based off obviously appearance, kind of the aura that kind of surrounds in the story, and then the price.
For sure.
So for the bang for the buck, and these are the most expensive. So some of these are going to get up to like 190,000. Others are going to be a couple grand.
Sounds
but
good. Everything
everything is absurd. So don't feel bad if you can't afford any of these shoes. I can't afford any of these shoes. So right away, McKenna, you want to look at that? What do we got? The first one we've got is that the Cons. We've got that. Yeah, those are Converse. So we've got the Converse Fast Breaks. These ones were worn by Michael Jordan in the North Carolina game. Do you wanna take a guess at how much you think these go for?
How much they're worth?
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I want to say 200 grand.
You're right. You're right there. I mean, this is the one. There's $190,373 is what they sold for in an auction. So it's a house, dude. That's a nice house, you know.
For sure. That's a hobby for sure.
Yeah, it's insane. So I mean, it's an iconic shoe. What are your thoughts on it? Where are you thinking that this one should go? S tier? Is this top of the top? Is this, A, B?
Sure.
You think that one's a S tier?
For sure.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty legendary.
It's legendary,
I got the poster somewhere. We've got it somewhere.
Well, before he signed with Nike, he was with Converse.
Yeah, well, Converse was the biggest seller.
Larry Bird was on Converse.
Magic Johnson. Everybody wore
everyone
them.
was.
And then Jordan, he changed the game with Nike, so it's kind of crazy. We've got the next one there. Looks to be that is the Air Force One. It's an Entourage. It's an Entourage collab with Undefeated, and I can't pronounce the last. It's Fukijima.
Okay.
Fukijima. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's a Japanese brand, but they're gold Air Force One, and it was in celebration of the TV show Entourage on HBO Max. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but I've never watched it. My uncle's telling me about it. Recently came out in 2003. Apparently, it's a show that like follows people's rise through Hollywood and like kind of how it is trying to make it in the entertainment business.
For sure.
But this shoe was in celebration of that, and it goes for $88,200. So
pair of Air Forces.
They're a pair of Air Forces. So I mean, Air Forces are a solid shoe. Nothing crazy.
I have a couple of Air Forces.
But I mean maybe I'm just like more of a simplistic guy, but I think I prefer more of like the the all white with like maybe a colored swoosh or the black with whatever.
Or the custom Air Forces.
Or custom is kind of crazy. So this one, I mean, this is almost custom because I'm sure there's not a lot of these if they're going for 88 grand. I don't know what I would put this one at. Well, what do you think? I feel more like B or a C.
If you're saying the one over there was 200 grand, I'd say C.
C tier. I think that's a fair choice. And you got people in the chat. You guys let us know as we're going through this if there's anything you guys disagree with. Pat says I touched the net for the first time in some Jordan 5 retros. He did. He had a blue and yellow colorway, which
Laney
actually
blue.
is one of the most expensive colorways. I think.
Yep.
And
I think they're called Laney's.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think they are.
Yeah.
And he had them. I mean, he beat the fuck out of them. We were in like 6th or 7th grade.
I've
so
been there.
yeah, he beat those up, but they were awesome. I was jealous of those shoes. What do we got next? We've got the Air Jordan 12s, the Flu Game. These are signed the Flu Game shoes. For those that don't know, Jordan, I forget which year it was. Which year was the Flu Game?
They did a couple of releases. There was one in 2011. Then there was a different one that came out with suede.
Which finals though was the Flu Game? Was it it wasn't the 98 ones. Was it the year before?
I think it was 98.
It was 98?
Say it was 98.
So yeah, this shoe he wore in tentatively the 98 finals. Maybe it was the 97. I'm not 100% sure. And had the flu. It was the big Flu Game story that goes alongside these shoes.
Threw up a couple times.
These are signed by him. A signed pair of these went for $104,000.
Okay, for sure.
So pretty expensive. I mean, I actually really I didn't like the 12s growing up. I never thought they were really cool. And as I've gotten older, I've really come to like the design of them.
Good colors.
They got some really cool colorways.
They do.
I'm not really sure where to put this one. I feel like it's definitely higher than the Entourage one. It's definitely maybe B or an A.
I'd say A.
You say A tier?
I say A.
You're the shoe guy, so you get the last word on all these. So we're gonna go A tier with that one. And so this next one is kind of cool. I don't know if you've seen these. I didn't know this one existed until I was doing some research for this. These are the Macklemore Air Jordan 6 collabs. They're titled Cactus. They go for $25,000, and there's only 23 of them.
Okay.
in existence. So they're pretty cool. They're like, it's like a
Never
almost
seen
a
that color
suede,
before.
and it's like a really cool like aquamarine almost
sure,
kind of
for
color.
sure. They kind of remind me of the Travis Sixes. A
yeah.
different color though.
Yeah, I really like them
I like 'em
actually
too.
as a color. I've never seen them, but I would love to have a pair. Not I'm not gonna pay
For sure, for
$25,000, but I would
Definitely.
love to have them. I don't know, man. What are your thoughts?
I give them C.
C tier.
Yep.
Okay, C tier. They're right there with the entourages. Now we've got the next one here. This one's got some history to it, so it kind of sucks. It cuts off the picture a little bit, but this is a very old shoe. This was these are the Nike Moon shoes. They were created by the co-founder of Nike, designed by him, and they were made for the 1972 Olympic qualifiers. And this is the only one of them. There's only one left in existence that has been saved. These went for I think it was 2017 I was reading, went for $437,000.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, there's only one pair. So they're
Okay.
a track shoe. I forget exactly. They didn't say exactly who wore them, but they had made them for the U.S. Olympic team.
Okay.
And yeah, they were only able to like keep one of them in
For sure.
okay shape. And it's
existence.
pretty beat up still.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't personally buy them.
I
So
wouldn't buy 'em either.
I'm not into track, but I mean the history and the price tag is pretty crazy. I feel like it's also a C tier. Like it's not. I can't put it at D because of like the history. You know, I feel like C tier is fair. Now we're both suckers for these ones, so I feel like these ones are going to be
100%.
pretty high. But for those that don't know, these are the Air Mag Back to the Future sneakers, the self-tying. Sometimes if you buy it with certain brand collabs, they have, like you were mentioning, they have the hoverboard now that a brand made. Light up, self-tying, straight out of the movie. These went for, or usually go for, around $35,000.
Yep.
So, I mean, for me, this is my dream shoe.
This is my dream shoe.
So
too.
I mean, we got to put
I
that
put
in
it-
S tier.
yeah,
It's
I think so. Too.
it's the best. It's like you can't beat it. We've
I've
got,
never seen.
huh? This next one. Okay, this
Never
next
seen
one.
those.
This next one. There's a reason you haven't seen it because they're in a museum. That's the only
Okay,
one.
okay.
So these are the I couldn't pronounce his name. He has like a lot of names. These are the shoes these are from 1803. They are all gold and like jewels, diamond studded, completely like whatever. From the ruler of Hyderabad's. It's a country or was a country, like I don't know if it still is a country in the Middle East. And so he was like the king-esque because they didn't have necessarily a kingship. And these went for 160 grand. Were bought by a museum, I believe.
Okay.
So they're like solid gold. I would never wear them.
I
think it's interesting history, but I sorry to the king, but I would put them all the way at the
I
bottom.
put them D.
I'm not
I don't
wearing
think.
them. I wouldn't want them
You know,
either.
to
I
a
feel
history
guilty.
guy maybe, but not to a sneakerhead. We're not paying.
Yeah, I feel almost guilty. So
100%.
what do we got next here? I'm trying to. This is these are the OVO 12s. These are the Drake editions, and these went for $100,000. And the story behind this is actually Drake, because there was only one pair. There was a custom pair, and Jordan made them for Nike or for Drake. He wore them at a playoff Toronto game.
Okay.
And gave
Big
them
Toronto
to a
fan Drake
fan.
is.
Yeah, so he gave them to a fan, and then the fan turned around and sold them online for
I could
$100
never.
grand, dude.
I couldn't do it.
Crazy. That's insane.
I mean, for
to me.
$100 grand, maybe I'd be able to come off of it.
Yeah, dude. But I mean, I feel like I would just want to keep those if Drake.
I'm the type of
gave 'em.
person, if someone gives me something as a gift, I'll never sell it.
Yeah.
But some people are different, so.
Yeah. I mean, $100,000.
$100,000 does sound good.
That's a lot of money. I
Buy
feel like
2 or
he
3 houses.
could have potentially gotten more almost for how like some of these are going. Maybe he could have gotten more if he waited
For
a little
sure.
bit. But yeah, he sold them online for $100,000
That's crazy.
after that.
I was Drake. I would have bought them.
Yeah, buys them back
Yeah,
just to be
that'd
like,
be
fuck
insane.
you, kid, I gave those to you.
That's funny.
So I mean, this is what I was talking
like
about.
Drake.
I like Drake. I like this colorway of the 12s. It's really cool with the gold and white. I don't know, man. What are you thinking? Thinking an A tier?
Thinking A.
Man, we got 2 12s in the A tier.
Yep. I do love 12s.
Yeah, I've really come around on them. I really like them.
for
This
sure.
next sneaker is another one I've always wanted.
Red Octobers.
The Red Octobers, the Yeezy Red Octobers. For those that don't know, Kanye now has the Yeezy. He's with Adidas. Make a really solid shoe for those that are into 'em. I don't have any Yeezys. I've never purchased Yeezys, but I was obsessed with these Red Octobers and actually the other Air Yeezy 2s. because I thought they were sick.
Yeah,
And these go for around 7,500 to up to like 10 grand, depending on it. So, I mean, what does our sneaker expert say? What would you put this at on a tier list?
I love Kanye. I put him at A just because it's one of my grails too.
Yeah.
So it's not like the Air Mags or the Converse, but I put him A.
Is that your favorite colorway of it?
That is my favorite colorway.
Yeah, I like those. They
just stand out so much.
Yeah, he had a black pair of those, and then the gray pair as well,
Yep.
like the gray with the green accents and everything. I don't remember the name of it, but very cool shoe. What do we have next? We have these are really cool and kind of interesting story. These are custom Nike Socals Air Force Ones. They're code names, so the full name is Nike Socal Air Force One Supreme Maxes. Big Boy from Outkast.
Yes.
He got these made custom, and they have actually 13 karat diamonds in them.
Wow. Okay. So expensive shoe.
So very expensive shoe. $50,000 actually is what it's sold for.
Okay.
So these are really custom. I love Outkast. I mean,
Me too.
I'm just a big hip hop guy. I mean, I feel like sneakers and hip hop
go together.
They kind of go hand in hand.
That's all we play in the shop is hip hop. So.
Yeah, which makes sense. I feel like this one's got to. I don't want to like put all the rapper ones in A tier. Maybe as a B tier.
I'll go B.
I'll go B. It's pretty sick. I would love to have them. Don't have 50 grand.
Me neither.
It is still an Air Force One, so it's not like the craziest thing in the world, but pretty cool. This next one is these are the solid gold OVO Jordans, and they went for $2 million. They are made of solid
$2
gold.
million.
That's what they didn't actually sell for $2 million. They are literally, there was a study done to estimate the cost because people had to factor in the cost. This is made from straight 24 karat gold, and they're solid gold.
So the most karat gold.
So they had to like literally, there were people like gold experts that did calculations on this to like guesstimate what the price would be, and it was right around $2 million of what these would be worth. There's only one owner of these, and it's Drake.
It's Drake.
So I mean, he's absurd. I don't know. I mean,
I'm thinking A.
Yeah, I feel like the solid gold isn't like.
Yeah, I don't like the shoe, but $2 million doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Pretty insane.
It is.
This next one is pretty sick, and I would love to actually get. This is from Mischief, like we were talking about, the custom brand that did the Satan shoe and the Walk on Water. These are the Walk on Waters, and it's kind of shitty the angle they gave us.
Yeah.
But you can see almost a little bit. There's the cross on the top. So these come with 60 milliliters of holy water in the sole.
Okay, I like that idea.
Holy water. I can't remember if it was from the. Like the church that the Pope is actually in, or if it was just from some other place. Or no, it was from the River of Jordan. That's what it was. The River of Jordan. Yeah. I remember reading that specifically now. And it comes with a cross as well, like a crucifix. And if you are a Christian, this is
I believe in God, so
this is the greatest shoe ever, probably.
For sure. I put it at B. I kind of like. I'm not big into the black pair, but I think the black pair is a little bit more cool with the whole red bottom and stuff like that.
I think it would be cool to have both and wear one of each.
It would.
That would go so hard.
Super cool.
That would be insane. So this one is the predecessor to the Red Octobers, to the Air Yeezy 2. This is the Air Yeezy 1s. Yep. So they're actually worth more money right now. And recently, this pair specifically sold for $1.8 million in an auction.
Okay.
And is the Air Yeezy 1s. I forget the name of this colorway, but it's the black with red.
Yep.
Yeah. So they I don't know. I like the 2s a lot better than this one. I feel like this one was a lot bulkier. But it's still a cool shoe. Yeah. I don't know that it's quite as. I feel like it's B or a C.
Where I'd say C.
C tier.
I like the 2s too more. Yeah, a lot more.
The 2s are just you can't beat that. You can't.
That's more like a collector's item, just to say you have the first Yeezy. Yeah, or something like that.
You think on the topic of Yeezys, do you think Kanye made the right decision to move into Adidas?
I think it did, just because to give people a little bit more competition or market when it comes to that. And I like the concept where he makes more than. Jordan might come out with 20 or 30,000 pairs. Well, he mass produces them, so people can't resell them for what they want to resell them for. Yeah. Because like the Red Octobers or the Yeezy, those are limited releases, is why they go for so much money. Yeah. Well, as new ones, you could buy a pair for $160 to $180 being used. Yeah. And I like that concept.
He's trying to, and he signed the deal with Gap a couple of years ago. So I'm excited to see what's going to come out of that. I think that'll be really interesting. Do you have you ever seen any pair of like the Yeezy the like sandal, like the, what are they called, like the Clucks or whatever?
So I had bought a pair for myself.
Really? Are they
Yeah,
comfy?
no.
They
Worst
didn't
slide
look
I've
comfy.
ever. That's why I couldn't wear the worst slide. It reminded me of jail. Never been to jail, but that's what it reminds me of.
That's funny as hell, dude. That's what they just look. I mean, interesting looking.
For sure.
And if
for
they were
sure.
comfortable, I would maybe swing it. Like
Yep.
I see the Sunday service gear that he's got
For
everybody in. The outfits look insane. They
Yeah.
look great with
He
the
has
slides.
a crazy style, Kanye himself.
Yeah, I mean
insane
he's
style.
phenomenal when it comes to
For
fashion.
sure. For sure.
But yeah, I didn't think that they would be very comfortable. So
Yeah,
it's
me neither.
interesting that you say that. So the next one is again along the lines of weird shoes, I guess. These are Balenciaga Tow Runners, or
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure what the specific name was because they were kind of being sold at a couple different places online. These go for $1,300, so probably the
Okay.
cheapest thing on the list. One of the ugliest shoes on the list.
I've seen
in
a
my
couple
opinion.
people wear those. Yeah.
Really? Have
Yeah,
you seen
for
like
sure.
these ones, the high ones?
I went to San Diego. I want to say three weeks to a month ago, and I've seen a couple people wearing them. You know, I look at them like, oh, you know, whatever. I
Yeah.
wouldn't wear them, but you know, if you got $1,300 to put
You
a
wanna
shoe that looks like a sock, you know,
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah, I guess it's a flex in and
Yeah,
of itself.
exactly.
What is your thought on like designer shoes, like
I like 'em.
designer sneakers?
So I had bought a pair of Gucci slides a little bit ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I wore them, and you know, I bought a pair of Nike slides after I had the Gucci slides. Well, I always was a lot more comfortable on the Nike slides, so I kind of put the designer thing away.
Yeah.
But I really do like the designer. My dad buys a lot of designer shoes, so shout out to
Okay.
him for that.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I've never been into like the designer shoes. I've seen some cool. I think it's Balenciagas. I've seen
Yep.
some cool Balenciaga like they're runner-esque shoes. You're probably not running in them, obviously, but they're like
100%.
runner-style shoes. And I think Billie Eilish was wearing some. And I've seen a lot of hip-hop people
Mhm.
wear them. So they
For
look
sure.
really cool with certain outfits. I just don't know that I would personally rock
Okay,
them. So,
okay.
but there's a lot of different.
There's a lot of designer brands too.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ones, so
100%.
I'm sure there's probably one out there that I would like. But where do you rank this one, this Balenciaga?
A D.
D?
I just really, I don't know.
Yeah,
could
I'd
never
have
do
to
it.
agree with you. I wouldn't be able to either. This next one is actually pretty interesting as well. This is the Air Jordan. These are Air Jordan 1s, and they're it's just this Air Jordan 1 silver shoe is what it's called. And this was actually a birthday gift to
Okay.
Michael Jordan from his
Okay.
wife. His 32nd birthday. So kind of a fun backstory. And they go for $60,000.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's probably like middle of the pack price wise on
For
this
sure,
list,
for sure.
but an interesting shoe. I actually had a friend who had like a pair of like neon green Air Jordan ones
Okay.
like this, and they had like the metallic finish over
Yep.
the top.
I'm talking about-
Kind of interesting looking shoe. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but the silver one is a little bit better. I feel like I'm not sure exactly where I would rank it.
I'd put him at B.
B. I
B's-
think that's
I think
fair.
it's reasonable
Yeah.
for 50 grand. It's not bad.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. So this is what we got. We've got the Converse fast breaks that Jordan wore in the S tier, as well as the Air Mags. I think that's a pretty fair S tier. I think that's
yes.
right where they should be. Our A tier, you could tell we like the 12s
Yep.
and the Red Octobers, and then you
Yeah.
can't. I don't think you could put a $2 million solid
Yeah.
gold shoe
No,
any
you
lower.
can't.
So that's pretty fair on that one. And then we got some Air Force Ones there in the B tier, the Outcast. We got the Walk on Water.
I should have put
Silver.
those a little bit higher. I
Which
feel
one, the
like.
Walk on Water
Yeah,
ones?
those are pretty cool.
I think they're really fresh, and I have like a soft spot for white sneakers in
Yeah,
general,
me
like
too.
white
Me
shoes.
too.
I don't know what
Just
it
stands
is.
out.
Yeah, and they just like
The
they're harder
first
to
time wearing them, going outside, you know, you
Yeah.
just get the sun on them. I like that.
it's
one,
like
the white
harder to
shoes.
keep them. It's way
It
harder
is.
to keep them
It
clean,
is.
but it's just a great feeling going out with a pair of white
100%,
sneakers on.
100%.
Just super cool. So I'm pretty happy with this list. What are your final
sure.
thoughts on this?
I really like it, honestly.
Would you, if any of these came into the store, would you take a small loan out to make sure you
the
can
only,
buy them?
on that list, my favorite on the list, because I'm a huge Jordan collector, would probably be the Converse.
Mhm.
But the Nike Air Mags, if someone came in with them, I would take a loan out just to have them.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Dude, I can't say that I disagree with you. I mean,
Yep.
I would like to think I wouldn't,
But
but
I know I would.
I don't know if someone was like, these Nike Air Max are in your
Yep,
size, bro.
yep.
Like, here you go. It would be pretty tough for
It
me to
is
say
what
no. All right, McKenna. Well, thank you for pulling that up. We can you can just minimize that and whatnot and put that off to the side. So getting back to the shop and everything, what's next? Like what's like something you want to be working towards? I know we were talking off air about
Mhm.
potentially moving to Madison.
Yeah, that would be really nice.
Is that the next thing? Is getting another location, or are there steps before that we get to there?
There's a lot of steps before that. Just having the inventory to go to Madison, or you know, something that it's going to attract the Madison community to the store,
Mm-hmm.
which is really hard. I'd say throughout the little steps is like going to the sneaker cons or the little shoe events and getting my name more out there is really how that all started, was from the sneaker cons, cons and stuff like that. You know, a lot of inspiration and a lot of hustle. I feel like when your hustle dies, your business dies. Yeah. So as long as I keep going, I feel like I'll be able to get there.
You know what would be interesting? I think that first off, I respect that a ton. I think that's the right mindset. That's the perfect mindset for everything you're doing. You know what would be kind of interesting is if like you guys like pimped out like an RV and
just
fucking drove around the whole like United States and sold shoes. That would be insane, dude.
So it's funny you said that. Me and my girlfriend, our biggest dream is to buy like one of them old Volkswagen vans and throw like a little bit between a queen and a twin bed, and travel the road for like a month. I'm really into stuff like that. But back to the bus thing, I went to a sneaker. It wasn't SneakerCon. It's called Sneakerville, based in Gurnee.
Okay.
They had a bus with graffiti and LED lights in there where you would go and eat your food. Yeah. I thought that was super cool. Or like the yellow buses that they pimp out. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yellow scoop. I'm sure you've seen some of those.
Well, dude, I was thinking about it a while ago. I think it would be so cool for me because I'm a musician as well. So 100%. Like, I thought it would be super cool. So like, I built my own stage a while back, and so like have someone with a pickup truck, and then I get an RV, and we have like the whole crew, and we just go, we pick a town, like a, you know, somewhat bigger towns like Gurnee and stuff like that.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, and just be like, okay, we're going to get here, we're going to find a park, we're going to reach out to the township, be like, yo, can we have this park in 3 days from now? Go promote a show for 3 days, cool. Set up the stage, play a show, then go to the next town and just do that. That would be crazy.
Just curious, how long did it take you to build your own stage? I never heard of that before, someone building their own stage. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was like, I'm trying to think, it was like a week.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the first day I probably put like, I don't, maybe like 6 hours into it. It probably like total like hours wise was probably like 20 or
that's super
25
cool.
hours.
You don't hear a lot of rappers saying that, hey, I built my own stage.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. I was literally having to look it up. Yeah, we did it, but yeah, it was a lot, and a couple of my friends helped me out, and it was it was crazy and very stressful.
I bet.
When we
it was stressful getting the store to where I wanted to be.
I'm sure it was.
It was very stressful.
That's the thing. A lot of people don't understand when you're starting something from 100%. Nothing. Like you're creating with the store. Like you're going from just being a guy who's selling a couple pairs of shoes to make some extra money to having to be like, okay,
I rely on this to pay my bills.
I have to rely on this to pay my bills. This is my brand. This is my whole likeness. Is 100%. Everything is tied up in this.
For sure.
And you know, it can be lonely sometimes having to struggle through that. Yeah. How do you manage like having to juggle the the work-life balance of owning your own business, and then obviously you have a girlfriend, you have family, you have friends. Like how do you juggle all that?
It's kind of hard to put it in words. I'd say just like honestly having my family and my girlfriend and the support I have really keeps me together as a person. You know, them just saying, hey, you know, as long as you keep working and keep hustling, you keep motivating yourself, you're going to get to where you want to be in life.
Yeah.
My family's never come from money or anything like that. So for me to actually have an opportunity to provide for my family or, you know, buy a house for my family, it's something that I really look forward to, you know, hopefully in the future to come. I pray for that.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's all about, man.
It is.
I think it's great that you have like a supportive foundation. 100%. People that really want to see you do well.
My dad's a really big help too. He helps around the store a lot.
Yeah. When I was in there, he was in there. He was doing his thing. He was selling shoes and talking with everybody. He seems like a really outgoing guy.
He doesn't stop. That's one thing I give to him. He doesn't stop. He does a lot of the thrifting for the store, and he does a lot of the back scene stuff like that. Like we're trying to get a YouTube going. Not more like the buy sell trade, but more like the sneaker culture and kind of like a vlog going, something like that.
Yeah, man. Well, if you need help with that, I mean that's
for sure.
What my company does. We can help you out with that. I think that would be super cool, especially because you kind of be able to infuse kind of the hip hop scene with that, and then you add the video aspect to it. That's just a whole different place to kind of show what goes into running a store like that. Because I mean, you're doing it in real time. You're doing really well. I think that would be super cool for people to see.
It would. And back to the stress thing. Like when I first opened a store, our clothing racks wouldn't come for a month, or getting my seller's permit would take an extra week, and that stuff is a lot of stress. Just because usually someone's first impression is what gets them to come back.
Yeah. So
to not have a clothing, to a lot of people watching, they think a clothing rack, it might not mean a lot, but to have Bape and Supreme or like your merch up there, it brings people coming back. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a lot of people don't know that it is first impressions like you're talking about. It's how it looks. Like they're not going to buy anything on that rack. Maybe they're not even going to look at that rack. but they know they know, okay, this guy's got this going on, he's got this going
Yep.
on, he's got this going on.
100%.
Really professional.
Thank
And
you.
that's
Appreciate
something
that.
and that's something that like you talk about stressing about it. I definitely know how that is.
Yes.
Especially like I bring a
Yes.
lot of new people. It's the first time that I'm having you here. Whenever I bring
Appreciate
people
that.
into the studio, it's I'm like, especially if it's their first time, I'm like, okay, we got to make sure everything's
Yeah.
up and running
And
good.
then breaking the ice,
Yeah,
stuff like
exactly. So there's a lot that goes into it that people kind of don't get to see
that. Or overlook.
Yeah, yeah.
100%.
They just show up and they're like, I want to buy a pair of shoes,
Yeah.
and that's great. That's what I want. That's what you want. For
I get a
them.
lot of messages on Instagram or Snapchat. They're like, "Well, can you help me out with reselling?"
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy called 2J's Kicks. Is like JC. He runs one of the biggest sneaker consignment stores in America.
Okay.
And his biggest thing was, if you would have met me 8 years ago, you might not have looked at me. But I was putting in the work throughout the whole 8 years, hustling, motivating myself to get to where I want to be, a lot of nights he didn't sleep, stuff like that. Well, the guy actually, like I said, he just opened one of the biggest stores in America. You can get your hair cut and you get a smoothie and buy a pair of shoes. That's kind of like what he's into
Wow,
right now.
that's like
And
a
he's
whole
got a
thing.
tattoo guy in there.
Wow, dude,
Yeah,
you can
it's
do
honestly,
it all there.
and what really inspires me from his story is he started living in his car.
Oh,
And he
wow.
bought a pair of shoes for retail, waiting in a line, and
Mhm.
now he owns one of the biggest stores in America.
That's crazy.
I never met him, but I really do one day.
Yeah,
Honestly.
that is pure hustle.
It is.
That is
Very.
that
Him and
is
his
like,
wife did really good for themselves.
yeah. I mean, you gotta be. That's staying sharp. That's staying motivated.
100%,
That's really
100%.
kind of having a vision. What? So we were talking about potentially move into Madison, having a
Yep.
second location in Madison. What would be if money wasn't in the word, like we didn't have to
Mhm.
worry about money and everything, and everything was going exactly how you want it. What's the vision you see for KENOKICKS? Like how big are you seeing this?
I say big is an underestimated word for me, just because I've always been the person where even if I worked at McDonald's, well, hey, I want to be a manager at McDonald's, or I want to be a CEO at McDonald's. When it comes to KENOKICKS, I started off selling out of my house, or whatever the sneaker shows.
Yeah.
Then I opened a store. Well, now that I have a store, I want another store.
Mhm.
And after I get the second location in Madison, maybe it might be California one day, or,
Yeah.
or Florida, somewhere I want to settle down at and, build my dream up. Madison is a really big dream though for me.
That would be super cool.
It would really be
A
super
lot of
cool.
foot traffic, a
Yep.
lot of people, a lot of kids, younger people
College.
too. College kids want to look
For
fresh.
sure.
What like when I forget, when it comes to like shoes and clothing and everything, what's like your would you ever do your own? Would you ever like make your own shoe, like Lonzo Ball and
Or
LeVar
like the
Ball,
Revenge
like
Storms or something.
yeah,
like
like
that.
would you ever look into like figuring out a factory to get a shoe made for you, like one, even if it was like a limited release? Would you ever consider doing that if the brand got big enough?
If I had the chance, I would. I
Yeah.
feel like that'd be a dream come true, something like that. Or even Jordan. If Jordan reached out to me and it wasn't a different brand, my jaw would probably drop and I'd probably go up in the air screaming, hands going everywhere.
Yeah,
It'd be a dream of mine to come true for something like that.
some sort of collab would
For
be
sure,
really
100%.
cool. That's I think that is really neat when brands do like official collabs.
Yep.
Like I was just showing you before, and I got a video coming up in a couple of days, so be on the lookout for that, people. Of the Lego and Adidas Ultra
Yeah,
Boost, like
yeah.
because I'm a big Lego fan,
Yeah,
and I love shoes,
100%.
but I don't buy as many shoes anymore. But I was
Yeah.
like, I gotta get these.
Exactly.
Like I have
when
to.
it means something to you, you want to buy it even more.
And I think like collabs like that are really the way, and especially if you're able to build a brand where you're able to branch out and have these other locations, and it's successful, and you've worked your ass off, and
Mhm.
people kind of get the sense, like we were talking about before, they feel welcomed at KENOKICKS.
100%,
They feel like
100%.
they're part of the family and whatnot. They're gonna want, or they would be interested in potentially getting a special KENOKICKS colorway.
That'd be cool.
Of
That'd be
whatever.
cool.
That would be super cool.
There's actually a guy I know out there. He buys shoes from Walmart, plain
Yeah.
white shoes, and he throws designs on them. And I think he sells them for $100, and I find that pretty cool too. So if KENOKICKS got to do something like that, where they could find a little bit cheaper shoe and sell it to people that aren't as fortunate with money,
Yeah.
it's something I would really like to do one day.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Especially
I don't want to make $1,000 off it. You know what I mean? I'd be happy to make $100.
Yeah.
Put a smile on someone's face.
Yeah, and then they're getting a solid shoe,
Yep,
a cool shoe,
100%.
and they're at an affordable price, which I think is cool.
100%.
So we're right around that hour mark. Is there anything that you want people to know about KENOKICKS that we didn't talk about?
Just the good energy and good vibes that we bring, stuff like that. When you come in, we want you to feel welcome. We don't want you to leave right away after you buy your pair of shoes.
Yeah.
We want you to sit there and talk to us for an hour.
Yeah.
We're not here to just sell you a pair of shoes and to wave goodbye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're here for the culture. We're here for the people. We're here to give people good prices and not base our prices off of StockX, but I feel like that kills the community a lot when it comes to sneaker culture. And just to give people all around a good experience.
Yeah, I think that's really admirable, man. Where can people, so just so everyone else knows, where should they follow you at?
KENOKICKS 262 on Instagram. And then we have a Facebook page called KENOKICKS where it's got our Instagram has our location on there too. But just DM us DM us on Instagram if you are not from here.
Yeah.
And you need something shipped. We ship every day. I'd say I put out at least 3 packages a day through eBay.
Okay.
Also, we have an eBay account called KENOKICKS. If you just type that in, all my shoes will pop up on there.
Really cool.
Thank you.
Really cool, man. That's super cool. And you guys are located right here in Twin Lakes on North Lake Avenue. So if anybody is interested and you're in the area, you're listening, I know we got some people that are from the area. We got some that aren't that listen and watch. So definitely go check them out. I think it's a really cool store that you guys got going on. I'm excited to see what comes out of it.
Thank you.
With all that being said, that's going to wrap it for us. I want to say thank you to everybody who listened live or watched live. I also want to say thank you to those who are going to be listening days after on Spotify or viewing days after on YouTube. I also, too, want to say shout out to our patrons for supporting us over on Patreon. Over on Patreon, we post exclusive content, including how I make every one of my songs, how I produce and mix them. And we're actually launching some new podcasts that are going to start there first before they go anywhere else. So we want to be a part of that and be a part of those podcasts coming off the ground and everything like that. You can join Patreon and support the channel for as little as $1 a month. You just have to go to patreon.com/DarrenRita to do that. Also want to say shout out to Kenosha Auto Insurance for sponsoring this episode. Don't forget to give them a call if you guys need car insurance. Other than that, I want to say thank you, Noah, and the entire KENOKICKS family, everybody that puts in work over there. I know you guys are doing really
Appreciate
great.
That a lot.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And I will see you guys next week. Peace.
Should I wait for it to stop over here and then the stream?
Thank you, my man. It means a lot.
Absolutely.
It was one of the best talks I ever had, honestly. It felt like I was talking to you, so it's pretty cool.
That's what I like. Try to have it feel like.
For sure.
That's what I shoot for.
Honestly, thank you for that.